I created Species Nutrition with one mission in mind: to provide bodybuilders and serious athletes with no-nonsense supplements that work. I put my name and reputation on every bottle of Species Nutrition products. If you want to be your absolute best, join the evolution.
What's going on? And welcome back to another Midday Muscle. It just keeps coming. Let's do it. Bodybuilding news. In case you missed it, on yesterday's show we did a quick rundown of that monster lineup over at the Pittsburgh Pro last weekend, which feels like it's been one of the more entertaining events of the year so far. But contrary to popular belief, we actually did have a few other big names making their way around the guest posing circuit last weekend, including top 5 Olympia hopeful Iain, who is a little more than 2 weeks out from making his own season debut now. For all intents and purposes, this version of Iain was as good as any we've ever seen. And given that he has a few more days to dot some I's and cross some T's before he steps on stage in Toronto, you have to imagine that he'll be even sharper when he finally touches down there. Iain's best is more than most guys in the open can handle on any given night. So if he can go out there and put on his signature performance, our guess is that it probably bodes well for whatever he has lined up next on his slate. In addition to Iain, Breon Ansley also took the stage for the first time as a 212er last weekend. And even though Sean is still the clear favorite to repeat in the fall, the early signs do seem to point toward Breon being able to make a big impact in this division. A few weeks ago, you may have heard some concerns floating around his legs not being big enough to compete with the other top guys in this division. But after what we saw here, I think some of those comments are probably overblown, because he definitely didn't look like he had any big proportional gaps in his physique. You could argue he's as complete from front to back as anyone in this division right now. So if his size holds up, we can't see any reason why he wouldn't be right there in that group with the other top guys once the judges start sorting them out. Most of you already know that the New York Pro is this weekend, and after the official rosters were released earlier this week, it's looking more and more like this one might be an official coming out party for Tony O Burton. We've had a few updates from his camp already this week, and at this point it feels like a safe bet to say that he's about to come in here and drop the hammer. Even though he had a relatively short off-season before he had to shift gears back into prep mode, the progress that he made is honestly pretty remarkable, especially when you consider the fact that he was a 212 guy 2 years ago. He's always had this shape, but now that he has the open division size and what looks to be championship level conditioning, there's a chance that he ends up going on a run and turning himself into the most improved bodybuilder in the division. If you've seen the New York Pro lineup, then you know that outside of Tony O Burton being penciled in as the early favorite, pretty much everything else looks like it's up for grabs here. So if there was ever a time for a guy like Stu Sutherland to make his claim at one of the most prestigious shows in bodybuilding, this is it. The former USA champ garnered a lot of attention from his guest posing appearance at the Emerald Cup a few weeks ago, where he went shot for shot with Hunter Labrada. And depending on who you listen to, there is a strong contingent of people out there who think that he could be poised to push for a spot in the top 3 this weekend. Historically, we've seen the Evan Centopanis and the Big Rammies of the world use their huge rookie debuts in New York to catapult themselves onto bigger and better things down the road. So if Stu builds on what we saw a few weeks ago and really dials it in here, he could wind up being one of the biggest winners of the weekend. And that's it. End of Midday Muscle. You guys have an awesome weekend. I'll probably be back here next Monday.